Okay, the first thing is, if you're doing anything for profit in any way, so if you're a commercial organisation or you've got a blog that you have ads on that you make money off, make sure that you're using properly licensed images. You can find images out there that you don't have to violate somebody's copyright by basically stealing their image. Right. There are plenty of sites out there that have stuff available for commercial use. So you can get them for free, for example, on there are images that are licensed with Creative Commons, which is a copyright, or a type of copyright, which says anybody is allowed to use this with these various, with whatever these
conditions are.
Yeah, whatever the conditions are. So, for example, you can use some of the Creative Commons allow you to use stuff so long as you don't use it commercially. Some of them allow you to use them even if you use it commercially. Some of them allow you to.
But it says on
absolutely, yeah.
What the deal is there.
So you can find images that you can adapt. One of the conditions is you can adapt and build upon, as opposed to just display as is. So what you can do is you can take an image and you can change the colours, change the background, stuff like that.
And will the people, do they want links back to their own Flickr accounts?
Yeah, they want some sort of attribution normally, and some people have their own websites, and normally what they'll do is the place that you find the image where it has the Creative Commons will actually say what the attribution type is. Yeah. Sometimes it's just listing the name of the photographer.
And is Creative Commons, is that a part of Wikipedia, or is that something separate again?
No, it's separate, but most of the images that are used in Wikipedia are Creative Commons.
Right.
So they would be one of the biggest users of Creative Commons. Creative Commons was set up by people who didn't like the idea of copyright, and they wanted people to be able to be free to use their works, the art that they created, the images that they created. Even music is licensed Creative Commons. A lot of people do that. So some musicians will do that in order that if they created something good and it gets picked up, it gets very popular, their name gets well known.
Of course.
Right. So there is a benefit to the artist or to the creator as well.
And also, you might argue that the backlinks to their website from hundreds of different websites using their images.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Can be a huge benefit.
And then on the other side, you can actually buy commercially licensed photos. Now, you can buy them from places like Getty Images, which are incredibly expensive, but they have some very famous, iconic photos. Yeah. Particularly from American political history. If you need to find something like that, and you're writing a book about American politics, you may need to pay thousands of dollars to license a certain image for the book cover.
Sure.
But on the other hand, there are lots of places like iStock Photo, which have stock photography, and the stock photos are very high quality, and they're available for very cheap. You can buy them for $5, $10. Google have started to use the speed of download of a web page as a ranking indicator.
Right.
So they use that as a factor now in determining where to rank your site. So faster is better. And it's because people, when they get to a website, they make a decision on that website very, very quickly, within seconds. So if your page loads quicker, then you're better off. And Google see this as well, so they're ranking people. So in order to load the page quicker, reduce the number of images on it, but also reduce the size of those images. I try and keep images on a web page down below 100 kilobytes. So, and you can do that if you use Adobe Photoshop, which some people use by doing File, Save for Web, and it gives you various different options, and you can see what size you're creating. You can see that, like if you save it as a JPEG, you can see what quality level you want to set it at.
Right.
And if you're saving JPEG, one of the best things to do is knock the quality down to 10%, and then drag it up until you're happy with the image. Don't start with it at 100% and drag it down.
Right.
Right, because what happens is you'll get an alright image. It depends on how important the image is. It depends on what types of colours and things are in the image, how much detail is in it, how big it is going to be in terms of file size. We have in one of the videos, we have Paint.net, which is a free alternative to Photoshop. Yeah, and it allows you to do pretty much the same thing. You do save as, and then you can set the file size. If you're saving as PNG, which is a different file type, you don't get quite as much options in terms of the quality. What you can do is you can change the number of colours and things. But you can look at the other video, and see how to actually edit the image to save it. But what you should do is you try and reduce the number of images on the page, and keep the file size as small as you possibly can.